Welcome to another episode of Have Game Will Travel. I'm your host, Bennett Newsome, also known as Damn It Bennett out in the gaming community. As the Director of Esports Growth and Development at Full Sail University, I'm super passionate about exploring the diverse world of esports and gaming beyond just skill level. So whether you're a first-time listener or a returning fan, we're thrilled to have you join us for this virtual journey through the experience of industry professionals. So get your ready to engage with our guests and learn from their perspectives. Remember to submit your questions in the chat and we'll feature them here on the show. But sit back and enjoy the ride as we kick off another episode of Have Game Will Travel with our guest, Nyah Beck. Nyah, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm super excited for you to be here. Thank you for being a guest on the show. Why don't you go ahead and just kind of introduce yourself real quick to the audience, let them know who you are and what you do.
Yes, of course. So, hello everyone. My name is Nyah Bingy Beck. Um, I am a graduate of UC Irvine, and I am the founder of the Black Gxming Society, also known as BGXS. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on all of that. You've not only graduated, but you founded this awesome community, and recently, obviously, won an award, which we'll get into even more of in the near future here. But let's rewind a little bit. Let's go back to the beginning. What really got you interested in gaming, and what's kind of like your earliest memory of gaming, and how has it influenced you as you've gone on throughout your educational career and into your journey that you're on now?
Yes. So, gaming has been something that's been a part of my life, pretty much since I could remember.
Yeah.
um, Even before like a controller could fit into my hand, I would, pretend that I was playing like uh games on my dad's like lap or my uncle. And I would be like just totally enveloped in whatever they were playing. They played a lot of like Tomb Raider and things like that, and Guild Wars 1 when I was younger. And they would just disconnect the cord back when controllers had cords. And I would sit there and pretend that I was playing. And eventually I got older. I got my own Game Boy at like 3 or 4, play little princess games, and it's kind of just never stopped.
Yeah.
Just evolved from there. So, yeah.
I love that I feel like every dad does that now, right? Like here's the controller, I'm gonna game, you're gaming. Little do they know that they're not, but it's such a
Yeah.
bonding experience for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. So, as you've grown up, and we've been talking a little bit before the show, obviously about streaming and content, and you mentioned that you're playing, Guild Wars 2 now, where you had done
Mhm.
that before when you were younger. Have your gaming preferences really changed throughout your journey? Have you noticed yourself being in way more to a specific type of game, or are you just really kind of going across the genres?
Oh man, so I feel like they've kind of evolved over time. So when I was much younger, I loved playing like all of those girl games, the pink games, like fashion or makeup
Right.
type games. When I would come home from after school, and like things like Club Penguin and Pop Tropica were things we would like,
Yep.
try to bypass in our computer labs in like elementary school.
Hmm.
But really, I think like a big turning point for me was when I turned like 13 and got my own like gaming laptop. And those are really expensive
Yeah.
back then. No, maybe not so much now, but back then for sure. And I was able to play like more broad titles. I had consoles and stuff, but I played like car games or just whatever I was into. And ultimately, uh everything changed for me when I got into like competitive gaming. And in Guild Wars 2, there was like a little competitive like esports scene, very small. It's an MMO, so wasn't like big scale or anything, but there was like a little league for people that were like, top rated
Right.
on the player versus player like lobbies and stuff. So that was kind of my first introduction to like esports. And I was like 13, 14, and that was really awesome to me, like to kind of see, people taking competitive gaming seriously. And it was the first time I saw, like, streams and stuff, and,
Yeah.
um, ultimately, that led me to finding, Overwatch because that came out in 2016.
Yep.
A lot of my guildies, like, fled to go play that, and they were like, "You should try this." And, it's a FPS, so I had never touched a FPS before in my life, and team-based kind of
Right.
first person shooter because it's not really an FPS, but,
Yeah.
um, I, fell in love, and then, of course, since it was a big AAA game and major company, producing it, there's just a big scaled version of this whole competitive gaming,
Yeah.
like, landscape and esports and all of that stuff, and, yeah, I just fell in love and fell headfirst, and,
It's
you
easy with
know
Overwatch because I mean those
yeah.
cinematics that they create, it's just like they pull you in. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was like, wow, and it was my first Wizard game, so there's always that, and yeah, it pretty much led me to led me to my educational goals, like in college, right? Because then I heard that scholarships were offered
Yeah.
for students that play Overwatch, and I was like, oh, okay, I can like really invest in this game. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and now I still play it a lot, so I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It's a pretty cool thing. It's a pretty cool thing to like think about like that there's scholarship possibilities for gaming. Like that's just something that not a lot of people realize is legitimately a thing and
Mhm.
there's students across the country that have gotten sometimes full rides to school to either do competitive esports or work in that
Mhm.
realm of things. So it's a pretty awesome thing. And you're part of that group. Actually, we'll
Yeah.
get into that in a little bit, but that's a pretty cool group to be a part of. That were able to help pay for school because of gaming.
Yeah.
And so, talk to us a little bit about what you studied and your time at UCI.
Yeah, sure. So, contrary to like maybe what people might first assume, I actually majored in anthropology, which is the study of humans. And I kind of think of like people most closely associate that with like museums and bones and things like that. But I didn't really do that. I did like the socioeconomic side,
Okay.
which is more like dealing with society, culture, and like more of the people who are living,
Yeah.
you know? And yeah, I studied that and I minored in African American studies. But the beauty of anthropology was I did get an opportunity to really explore the realms of digital anthro that was kind of being pioneered at UCI, where people were, or our professors and faculty were uh, exploring through ethnography, how we interact in online and digital spaces.
Yeah.
So, we operate in our own kind of worlds and bubbles. There's different lingo and different uh, things that are like appropriate for online in a gaming forum, or different culture and lingo,
Yeah.
things like meta, or you see those memes, and if you play, you interact with those like little different niche things like all
Hmm.
the time. There's cosplay, there's like the creative side, and they're kind of like subculture things,
Yeah.
and my professors were able to study those things and kind of pull from traditional like structures of society and kind of begin like constructing or trying to understand how we as people like communicate in these spaces. And um I took like a ton of classes relating to that, and my mentor Akil Fletcher, who earned his PhD in anthropology, was studying that as well. And so I got to like explore that part of anthro, which was totally like different and
Yeah.
cool and not computer science. So yeah.
Definitely. I've been to UCI a couple times actually for their esports,
Mm,
summits and things of that nature, and have
yeah.
always really been blown away with not only the students there, but the campus is incredible. And
Mhm.
what you guys had been doing to support esports was huge. One of my favorite times though going was just it was, I think, at a esports summit, and they did a bunch of like presentations. There was like 30 students
Mhm.
all talking about just their presentation on this sector of one area of esports, and I thought that was the coolest thing, to be able to not only witness that and just see all these like young minds like really diving headfirst into the world of esports and gaming and this community and how to make it better. And like that was always such a really cool thing to see, because a lot of times you don't see that. You see the negative side, and so
Yeah.
seeing people that are working really hard to shed a light on, hey, these are the really awesome and good things about gaming and esports and all of that,
Mhm.
was really cool to see. So with that, obviously focusing on your time with the I don't want to be rude and say the cooler side of anthropology, but what you described was very cool, right? Like,
Yeah.
was that kind of what led you down the path of founding the Black Gaming Society at UCI?
Yeah, I believe so. I got to really tap into a lot of like historical like figures who pioneered the way for marginalized groups to um you know fight for things like civil rights
Yeah.
or women's rights and so on. So, there I felt like I was being exposed to a lot of things that I felt like I could parallel into gaming,
Yeah.
and into my own life, right? So, I definitely think like that exposure was really necessary, and I feel like too I have to really credit the Umoja program. They're having a symposium there today,
Oh, that's awesome.
um, but I couldn't attend, even though, but whatever. I'm really happy to be here though too. This is cool too. But the Umoja program is designed to support like African American students in higher education, and traditionally is in community colleges. And I was part of it at my community college.
Yeah.
And when I transferred, I was a part of piloting the program at UCI as one of the first universities to adapt or adopt the program to support transfer students like matriculate from the
Yeah.
university. And um, it's principled in like having a community that's like unified and um really just like together to empower one another, but also like push each other to be great and just do bigger and better things. And feel like a lot of the things that I learned and really like the confidence that I've taken to like step up and become a
Right.
leader, I earned through my family at Umoja. So um I kind of like intertwine the 2, like,
Yeah.
with both my academic classes, but then, like, my social, I still feel like it's academic, so, like, the social side as well, of just, like, you know, really thinking about having a grounded community, and kind of, just nurturing an environment for us to, step up and kind of create space,
Yeah.
and be effective and, like, claiming it and holding it for our own um, is kind of what really led to like the birth of the Black Gaming Society.
Yeah. I love that. And you always hear a lot about people trying to push it in the corner, make it small, right? And taking up
Mhm.
space is a really important part of that, right? And so I love
Yeah.
hearing that. What would you say was like some of your like or one of your biggest challenges when that you faced when kind of creating this, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so I get asked this question a lot, and I feel kind of weird answering because honestly, I really faced no challenges. Everywhere I've and even to this, well, I guess maybe more recently there's some challenges, but not in the way that you think.
Right.
But we'll probably get to that soon. But at least in the inception, like uh there everything was like full go ahead. Like nobody was really like
Yeah.
against what I was doing. Again, our I don't even think I explained, but the Black Gaming Society, our mission is to empower Black gamers, and ultimately, I want to create an incubator for um, Black and brown talent or just marginalized talent to be able to pursue their dreams and their passions in the gaming industry,
Yeah.
whether that is through streaming, development, cosplay, or esports and broadcast.
Yeah.
And there's even like business and professional opportunities. So, I feel like it touches like a broad spectrum of uh, industries in a sense, and so you know people just really are down to support that, and yeah, they're like pretty much everybody was on board. Like anybody that I reached out to and connected with on campus, we were well so like we were just really supported and
Yeah.
really
Well received, right?
well received. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. By our campus community, whether that was the departments or the like other clubs and programs that were run by students and
Hmm.
even faculty and stuff. So um, it really was not like there really were no challenges apart from just like the work had to be done, I guess.
Right.
So when I do talk about like how last year like everything was really broken down. I was a senior in my senior year at UCI, so I was taking like 5 and at most 7 classes
Wow.
at a
Yeah.
time, a quarter. And I worked 2 part-time jobs, and then I was the president of this org, or president of my own org, and VP for like several others. So,
You were very
there's
busy.
yeah, there was those challenges, of just like being able to make time and really put my foot for or just like put the work in to make sure it moved forward. And I was able to like it was that was pretty much like the most difficult thing I had to do. And um yeah, so we pretty much were just like full green lights.
Yeah. And that's great.
And
That's really good
yeah,
news. I mean, the fact that it was, an easy, not an easy, but
yeah,
there wasn't a lot of roadblocks in your way. That's a really
yeah,
powerful thing for you. So you were able to really focus on your mission and what you were trying to accomplish. During your
yeah.
time with this organization, obviously being a student and now being a graduate of UCI, what sort of impact has it had on the wider community of its members? Since it started, how has it kind of evolved?
Yeah, so we're kind of in that phase of like evolving. Please don't come for me. I don't play Pokemon, but I feel like I do know the little like phase when they're like
Yeah.
about to evolve. They kind of get shiny. Like
Uh-huh.
we're kind
Uh-huh.
of in that kind of form. Those little pre-frames before it's like boom, ta-da, like a new thing. So I feel like that's kind of been my journey like this past year, and really kind of just taking a step back from like the success of our time at UCI as a fully functioning organization, and just kind of taking a moment to really realize like the community that we did build, and still have and are still active all the time. We still play together, and you know things look different for sure, but we're still around and we're there to support one another, and of course play and learn. Um, and yeah, like that's kind of been what we've been doing. And I think too, I don't want to like say out of my like my perspective, but
Yeah.
I've been told right
Yeah.
by my mentors and stuff that like people really do appreciate like the impact that we did have on our campus. As we left, we were awarded, or as I left, we were awarded best new organization of the year, and there's over 600 campus
Yeah.
organizations
Wow.
at UCI. So to and there's hundreds and hundreds that register each year, right? So to be noted as like the best one was like
Yeah.
just a good stamp of approval right before I left. And it kind of shows like, and we were able to accomplish like things across a board of just all kinds. There's a lot of different areas of the campus that I was hyper involved in.
Yeah.
So I think it was just like a good testament of like these things can be possible, and these connections can be made, and, or relationships can be forged, and they can be to the benefit of the students, and people show up and show out. And um, I think before I made it, a lot of students would come to me, seeing me interact with UCI esports in the space, and always come and seeking advice from me of like how they could be involved. And
Hmm.
I didn't have much answers for them until I conceived the Black Gaming Society, where I was like, well, that could be your home. Like, this is
Yeah.
your home.
Yeah. This is the
And
way
we'll
in,
just
right?
be our community together, right? So uh that was something that I think was probably the most valuable to me. And yeah, we just were able to really cultivate like this close knit family. And yeah, we have fun together. So I always try to like weave that into like, at the end of the day, that's why we all play games, right?
Yeah.
Is they don't make us well,
Sometimes we're a little
arguably.
stressed out, okay? A
Yes,
little bit every
yes,
now and then,
yeah.
but
Every now and then, yes, but ultimately, right, like, let's
it's
take out the
fun.
balance patches,
Yeah.
but the whole point is we play games because we wanna have fun. Um, if they made us miserable, they would just call it work, but,
Yeah.
but just kidding, just kidding. But, yeah, so, those are things that I think I was able to, like, highlight. And, um just kind of notice like stepping back and not kind of being at the forefront, or just like my head in the books,
Right.
just trying to make everything happen. And that's kind of what I've taken away from this year. And I've still done stuff. I've been doing workshops with some nonprofits, and guest mentoring and lecturing at different universities and
That's
stuff.
awesome.
So still trying to reach out to different kids, and just kind of continue the momentum that we've sustained, I guess, from UCI. And just again in that little pre-evolving
Yeah.
state before I kind of blossom into what I believe is the next step. And yeah, I'm just on my like journey to kind of figure that out right
Hey,
now.
and I love everything that you talked about. I mean, like the idea of an incubator program to support content creators, broadcast
Mhm.
casters, hosts, like that is huge, and that is definitely what needed, in the space. So I'd encourage you
Yeah.
to continue, going down that path and whatever it may. You also mentioned, mentorship.
Mhm.
Our good friends over at Esports and Coffee were talking about mentorship last
Mhm.
night,
Mhm.
and you should definitely go watch that. But
Mhm.
for you, what type of how is what role has mentorship played in your journey so far?
Mhm.
Because you had mentioned this now several times about mentors and you being a mentor and having mentors. So yeah, I'd love to
Yeah.
get your kind of take on that.
Yeah, so I feel like everybody needs a mentor, or they need mentors. Like, is it plural?
Multiple,
Like
yeah.
several. You need several. So I believe like for me personally, so I was a peer mentor for the Umoja program. And I supported other Black transfer students that were navigating life at UCI.
Right.
And most times I would just say like, you know, what I pour into the program and pour into my mentees, I would get back like tenfold. And that they inspired me to be better and, do more, to be a better example for them.
Right.
So I really like, at least from my perspective, like that's how I view mentorship. And it's really just about like sharing wisdom and sharing knowledge. And the world doesn't really can't really like function if you don't really talk to people,
Right.
or you have to communicate. And this is probably like just the anthro kind of coming out of me, but um I firmly believe in people and like having relationships with them, and being able to like just share knowledge and support one another, and just have like a spider web of like
Yeah.
security pretty much. So um I am always seeking, or seeking like new mentors so I can learn more. And you need several, because like there's some things like it can't just be one person and they do everything, right?
Yeah.
There's different parts of your lives that like, or your projects, your academic, professional, like it's a holistic kind of thing. So I definitely firmly believe that like, you need people to talk to and who've been through similar things as you, and they can
Yep.
help you navigate uh different challenges or different achievements, right? With grace, or maybe stay away from something,
Right.
or
Like, yeah.
you always kind of need those it's really helpful to have those kinds of people that you can like go to and kind of figure out your next steps, or like what maybe they've done in the past,
Yeah.
and how you can move forward to continue like again evolving. I'm really into this evolving
Yeah,
thing.
no, that definitely a theme. I like it. We're gonna
Yeah.
continue to evolve, and well, obviously, with the Black Gaming Society, it definitely is evolving. And
Yeah.
recently, you know, went up to this little event for the Gamers Awards, and you guys won the top collegiate organization of the year, which is
Yay.
fantastic. Congratulations on that. Talk to us a little bit
Thank
about that
you.
experience and just the whole night.
Yeah, so oh my gosh, I was absolutely not expecting to win. Uh I just kind of submitted the nomination cuz I missed out on the awards last year.
Hmm.
And so I was like, "Oh, I like want to be a part of it, maybe Black Game Society can be a part of it too." And I followed the Gamers for a long time, and a
Yeah.
lot of women that I really look up to and aspire to and I wish would be my mentor are involved in the organization. So it's something that's always been, um, or they've always been like on the forefront of my mind, and definitely like the industry side.
Right.
Um, and so it's been like a really big privilege to like uh, be a part of their community. And at the awards, being a finalist, there was like over like 40,000 votes or something,
Yeah.
and like several thousand nominations, and to be like among the top like 50 finalists or whatever. They had like a whole graphic that like broke it down. But at the end of the day, there was only like 27 awards, and the fact that we won, and we were able to like, or really I say we, but it's kind of me, um get like the recognition and just like the um acknowledgement of like, I was staying up till like 5 a.m. to plan events and send
Right.
emails, and just schedule send them to be at a not stupid time. Make sure it was like during actual hours that real humans and adults function at, but
Hmm.
um it just kinda, like, validated all of
Yeah.
that effort. And, it was always a labor of love for me. Like, I had a crazy schedule, but Black Gaming Society was really, like, my release to just kind of, like, um, be in tune with, like, what I really do love and really am passionate about, and, of course, be around people that I just really enjoy, spending time with, and,
Yeah.
um talking about things that I just love. So, it was really a release for me, and so it was never really like it was hard work, but it
Yeah.
was never um, work I want to avoid kind of thing,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's kind of like playing games. It's fun. Like you're
yeah,
doing this, you're
yeah,
building something.
yeah,
There's a long term, goal here that you're working towards. Just like collecting all of your Pokemon, right? Like,
yes, yes, yeah,
uh,
exactly,
I think that's great, and the validation too. It sounds like that was a huge moment for you, and so
yeah,
congratulations on that. That's huge. Um,
yeah. Thank you.
you also, since we're talking awards, we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but you also were named the inaugural Pokimane Scholarship recipient. And talk to me a little bit about that and what that was, and how that has, impacted not only your life with UCI, but also with Black Gaming Society.
Yeah, so, yeah, I was the inaugural recipient for the Pokimane Scholarship, for, yeah, 2022, 2023, and, um, it was really, like, again, kind of like validity of, a student who overall, it's to just recognize a student who's contributed positively to the gaming community at UC Irvine. That's like separate from being on the team
Right.
and things like that. So this is kind of cool because anybody can win this, um, and uh, be supported like with a scholarship. So I applied and was involved in other gaming orgs on campus, and tried to do like other little things for the gaming community before Black Gaming Society. So I was always just involved, and then I came out and made my own organization, and was recognized for that again. And yeah, it was just really cool. It definitely kind of just amplified, the work for the Black Gaming Society. Uh, I think on a at least to the scale of, like, the audience that UCI Esports reaches, for sure, and being able to kinda, like, have their also, like, stamp of approval, and support of, like, it's important work to build a space for Black and brown gamers on our campus, and we support that, uh was really important for the overall like health of the gaming community
Yeah.
at our campus. But I also kind of want to say like overall too, because I don't think there's any other organization among like the colleges or at least like student led organizations that kind of are similar to ours.
Hmm.
So um, I think being able to cater to like this marginalized population and just show that like it can be impact it's is important. There is engagement and there is interest among these students and among these demographics. That yeah, like there needs to be more attention. Definitely needs to be more investment in opportunities for everyone, not just like the few. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
um, yeah.
I agree totally. I think obviously the representation matters, especially in esports and gaming. It's a super important piece of the puzzle. For you, I think a big part of this, and I did a bunch of research leading up to this conversation, but I know your mom and your family has been a big part of helping shape your path and having some conversations with your mom about gaming and esports. How did that help shape your career and kind of where you are now?
Yeah, so um I think first and foremost, I even had a talk with my doctor today because she was saying that her daughters are like into gaming and
Hmm.
she didn't know how to like navigate that, and was kind of going the traditional route of like don't waste your time like
Yeah.
playing games. And so in our brief little appointment, I was like, no, games are good, like
Yeah.
really
I got a
do.
scholarship for it. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I was like, I went to this great school, got a scholarship, and did all that. So, like, it's a true, like, viable thing, and, my mom kinda adopted, like, that philosophy, like, she never really villainized it.
yeah.
I think oftentimes, like, I think so much has happened, like, since the, like, beginning, um I struggle with, like, mental health and things like that, and gaming was my outlet to, find, like, peace with myself and life itself, and kinda overcome negative thoughts and negative things that I was experiencing, like, in my adolescence, and so she saw the beauty, like, of me kind of becoming, like, my own person, and just really tried to, like, not villainize me spending time on my laptop, right, or
Right.
on my games. And I feel like that was really important because like if she had taken like a different route, who knows where I would be, if I would even be here today, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's like something that's really important, that I don't really get to talk about too often, so I wanted to bring that up here,
Yeah.
because that's definitely where I was in the beginning. And um it ultimately like she saw that I was gaining all these different experiences by becoming a guild leader and she'd be like, "Why do you yell at these grown men on your computer all the time? Like,
I love
they
that.
listen to you. What's going on?" And I was like, "Well, we're rating, and we need to stack here and hit these DPS checks and whatever and whatnot." She was like, "And grown men are really listening to you? Like,
You're
you're
in
only like
charge.
12 years old." Yeah. And I was like, "I am in charge because I'm the best at this." So, you know,
I love that.
um, there was like, she was seeing like just different sides of me that I was just falling like, or, just like kind of getting in tune
Yeah.
to. And she just really wanted to kind of like support me. But this industry, and even now, like we're kind of facing those challenges of like
Yeah.
there's not really a blueprint for anything in gaming, apart from like development, really, I guess I would argue. um and
Yeah.
she really tries to spend a lot of time um just kind of helping me figure it out. And uh I sat down with her, I think at the release of, or the announcement of, the Overwatch League,
Yeah.
like original league. And I talked to her for like 4 hours and didn't take a breath. And she was like, "Okay, you told me you were signing up for like vet classes." It was my first semester of college. And I was like, "I'll just become a vet because we just adopted a cat." And I was like, "And the vets were nice," or whatever, right? And then
Yeah.
she was like, "Okay, so you said that the beginning of the conversation, then you talked about this esports thing for like 4 hours, girl, without a breath, and I don't know what the heck that means, but you need to find a school that is talking in whatever language this is." So,
Yeah.
that was, how we found UCI Esports. And, I will shout out Mark Deppy, the director, of course, of the arena. Uh, he had a conversation with her and, was able to really bridge the gap of like, we're a top 10 public university in the nation,
Yeah.
and we're supporting this because this is what the kids are into. And like there's opportunity here for them to be successful. And um you know if she comes here, we got her. So like
Yeah.
that was like a big turning point because education and college is like a must in this house. My mom has 2 master's degrees and is professor for the past
Oh.
like 20 years,
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
there's no getting around it,
Yeah.
right? So she was like, "I just need you to figure out what the heck you need to do to go to school." So
Mhm. Mhm.
this was like a perfect like compromise and just like a perfect time for things to kind of like coalesce and really come to fruition. And it's only evolved again. I need like evolved counter, huh?
Hey,
Uh,
I like it. We're gonna roll with it,
yeah.
right?
It's only like continued to just like develop
Yeah.
during my even my time at the at or in college and in university. So now I'm looking at master's programs and just trying to figure out where the heck I want to go for if I want to go to law school or business
Right.
school or
Yeah.
what I'm doing. So still figuring that out. But um I think too, like there's a beauty in it being also very like broad too. So, yeah, overall, my mom has just been like really trying to champion for me. And I said at the Gamers Awards too, I spent an extra year at UCI, so she had to pay extra tuition and everything. But I was able to really delve into the Black Gaming Society, right? And
Yeah.
earn the Pokimane and all of the different honors and accolades that I was able to claim in 2023. um that wouldn't have been on my resume or
Yeah.
part of my legacy had I graduated any sooner. So
Yeah, it
but
all happens for a
always got to
reason,
shout her
right?
out. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, she's my superhero.
I love
And
that.
she's a like phenomenal leader in her own right, for her day-to-day job, and does a lot of great work. And so I've always seen, and she's always been the perfect example of uh like fierce female leader.
Yeah.
And she teaches poli sci, so she does a lot of government work, and
Mhm.
that's a very male dominated industry as well. So
Yes.
uh, I see her do that every day, and it just inspires me to also take on the same battlefield
Yes.
as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You also share a pretty common kind of transition for a lot of students is that transition from community college into, a university. And
Mhm.
obviously, learning here today that you talked about helping other students transition through that same transition that you went through. Talk to me a little bit about that and how you kind of gave it its own little gaming and esports tie.
Yeah, so, yeah, I was really involved with the Umoja program at my community college, well, really my last, like, semester or 2 at community college. Um, Again, I guess related to my family, my brother's in community college right now, he's in his 2nd semester. I graduated from Los Angeles City College, and so did my mom, when she was younger. So, we've always been, like a fierce advocate for junior colleges and their kind of discount for education. It's just like a very good like mobilizer for you to kind of um, get into four-year universities. It's really hard to do out of high school. I graduated high school early as well, so I didn't have the tests and the APs and all of that stuff. Um, so I think you need like 4.7s and like all of this madness, right, to get into these hyper competitive programs with very limited capacity. So community college was like a great outlet because there's just a lot more opportunity for transfer students who already have 2 years plus under their belt to come in as juniors
Yeah.
and just kind of like kill it at the university. I do, you know, just have like a soft spot for. I wish there was more time than just the 2 years. Like I do think the 3 years was really beneficial to me. Um, and hopefully there's no stigmas associated with that. Um,
I don't think so.
uh, yeah, just because I was able to like the student I was when I came into UCI is not the student I left as, and definitely like in the full 3 years. And I also transferred during the pandemic, so that was a huge
Yeah.
like upside down like thing to navigate.
I
So
can only imagine.
um it was just, like, totally, not what I was envisioning for,
Right.
my academic journey, but nonetheless, I still was able to, like, just find my footing and, uh, get established to life at UCI, and, I always share that, like, my first year was not the greatest, I was fine academically, but at least, like, socially and things like that, of course, because the pandemic,
Hmm.
I just was struggling to
Yeah.
just find my connection to the community. And then Umoja was coming to fruition, so I just jumped on board. And yeah, I'm just a very like firm believer in community college. I think seeing myself, and I guess in comparison to like my peers who maybe weren't at or were there since like freshmen and stuff, I had to just do a lot more real life like learning. I was working, like, I was a hostess, I
Yeah.
worked at Target, and, just did like retail and food service and took the train and all kinds of stuff that just forced me to become like an adult, I guess. Sometimes I don't feel like an adult, but my age says otherwise. But like,
Yeah.
it just, yeah, sorry.
No, I feel like that's all like real valuable experience, life experience that
Yeah,
you're having, and that
yeah.
while some people may be like, oh, that okay, that doesn't matter, but in reality, it
Mhm.
does. You learn so many things by doing them, right? Like I think that's a big part
Yeah,
of what Full Sail is like hands-on learning, right? Like, and we really
yeah.
in focus and get you involved in like the thing that you want to do, and for us, I think that's such a
Mhm,
big part of our purpose that
mhm,
any life experience, anything that you can do that you learn something and is going to add value, maybe not right away and maybe not in the most prominent ways in your life, but over
mhm,
time, you start to be like, oh, you know
mhm.
what? That was, I'm glad I had that experience because I learned that I don't want to do that anymore. Like, well, I'm going to do
Yes.
this now, like, and so I think there's a lot that you can really gain from those sort of things. I do. So we have
Yes,
our
absolutely.
we have our first question from the chat, which is from Jacob is
Okay.
Nachos. He
Oh.
asks, "What's your advice for someone looking to start a community on their campus that could spill over outside of like the physical campus?"
Yeah, so I think my first step to creating the Black Gaming Society was I really just asked around. You kind of have to be a little brave, and get to talk to people. Sometimes I feel like I'm shy, or at least like when I'm trying to talk to new people. But for this, I really was just like um passionate about reaching out to the community, and especially now, like, gaming is not just like a closeted hobby anymore. Like, I kind of say I was a closet gamer in like elementary middle school because it was not cool, at least
Yep.
when I was growing
Hmm.
up. But now it's all the rage, right? So everybody's playing games. And I kind of just put that, like, at the forefront of my mind, is like, this person, it probably watches Twitch, or they
Right.
probably do things, and so I just really, like, talk to people, and I just kinda asked around like, "Hey, if I made this, would you come to play games with us or whatever?" And, people said yeah.
Yeah.
So, I really just kinda started there, and I started in places where I was most comfortable. So we had a Center for Black Cultures, Resources and Research. We call it the CBCRR, at UCI, and it's kind of like the hub for like uh, Black student life at, or really just all, because it's alumni as well,
Right.
and grad students and everything. So like it's just like a good space, central space for Black anteaters to kind of just come together and engage. So I had there's a dedicated space on campus for that, so I was able to just like walk in there and just be like, "Hi, does anybody want to do this?" And of course everyone was like, "Okay, you want to play games right now?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And it just was really well received. And then I just kind of kept doing that, like in other classes and other things. Like, of course, we had our allies, of course, come and join us, and we were always welcoming. And um yeah, I just tried to like be really friendly. And I think it just kind of takes the first step of like being brave to say like, "Hey, I'm interested in this." And um kind of not being shy uh to yeah, just kind of like not being shy,
Right.
and just kind of like not limiting yourself to something. Because I do have like this sentimental thing where I also went to like the student government office with the flyer and like asked them to put it up.
Hmm.
But the president, after my first event, kind of like pitching the idea of the org to everyone, um he took the flyer and he actually pinned it in his office, or in the ASUCI president office, and it's still there.
That's
So it's been
awesome.
there like 3, 4 years. And we're kind of like hoping. I know the current like government people, right? So um, we don't think it'll come down anytime soon, but it's been there, up there for 3, oh, going on 4 years after
Yeah.
this quarter. So it's like going to be really exciting to see, like, just kind of like the impact of that. And um, uh, like, I was able to, me just kind of putting myself out there allowed like a lot of different people to come in and reach out to me, and yeah, just kind of like find their way
Yeah.
to us. So
Kind of being like conduit
um
for that, right? Like, hey, let's
yeah,
do something together. Let's build something together.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
We
And I also, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go. Keep
I
going.
was also just gonna say, like, I think another important thing is like, don't get caught up on like, oh, 100 people show up, or
Right.
like tons of people show up, because I really think it all just needs to have one other person show up, and that's a success.
Yeah.
And some of our events, they were small, like only like 7 people showed up. Mostly my board showed up. But other times we had like over 100 attendees, like,
Yeah.
come to different events. So it just varied day to day and week to week. And I consider all of those events successful. Even if I can only get my board to come, because at least
Right.
they didn't abandon me, especially when we had like important guests. But yeah, like, I wouldn't get caught up on like numbers, but I think too, like, if you just have, like, that one good road dog that, like, will always be
Yeah.
there, like, to come rock with you, like, that is that is a success, and, like, that is what you kind of can use to
Yep.
keep building your momentum, and, you know, I think too, like, business-wise, you tell them, like, "Oh, invite a friend," and they'll invite a friend who invites a friend, and, it kind of will just spiral and grow from there, so, yeah, that would kinda be my advice.
I love that. Yeah, and some I can see the streamer in you and talking to him. It's not about the thousands of viewers. It's about the ones that
Yeah,
are there, right? Like the people
yeah.
that are coming every day to hang out and have fun. And
Mhm,
and if they tell their friends, and then two more show up, then cool. Then
mhm.
so be it. But that's I really love that. Samurai Tank has another question. Says,
Yeah,
"Congrats on winning the Gamers Award. So well deserved.
thank you.
And it was so great to meet you at the event. I'd love to know what winning this award means to you and why aligning with groups like the Gamers are important for your mission."
Oh my gosh, wait, who was the name again?
Samurai Tank. This is Sari.
Oh, oh, cool. Oh my gosh, hi, it was so great to meet you. We actually sat together at the same
That's awesome.
table. So yeah, so she was right next to us. But it was so great to meet you there. And yeah, so this has been just like a monumental win. And I did share like earlier, like the Game Hers is an organization that I'm just like really excited to be a part of. And um this has kind of been like a good motivator for me to keep doing what I've been doing. I can't lie, post grad life has kind of been rough, with just like endless job application after job application. But, this award has kind of been like a light in the direction that maybe this is what the divine or whatever you want to call it has set forth as my path to continue to follow. And, you know, being recognized at the award is something I was not expecting by any means at all. I was fully ready to just go home and be like, sorry, mom, this was an expensive trip for nothing, kind of. But overall, like, I really just wanted to be in the space to network physically with the people that are involved in the organization. Because again, I look up to so many different figures who are um, involved in the space, and it is like a really powerful organization. So just like really excited to um, be invited to that space, but then to also be acknowledged as a peer, um, kind of like I feel like so early in my career, um, is something that like I really don't want to take for granted because I look up to these folks, and I was again fully prepared to just be like, okay, like it's not my time, like I'm just fresh
Right.
out of
Yeah.
undergrad, so I got time to work up to these the big girls, I guess, up there. To kind of just be embraced by everybody and just like fully supported was really like a full circle moment. There was even some folks who were uh, in the audience and watching who knew of me in the like conceptualization phase of the Black Gaming Society, where it wasn't even the Black Gaming Society
Right.
yet. Who were like, she was gonna make this org, and she was just talking about like doing this, and here she is,
Yeah.
like actually winning the award. And they expressed that like it made them teary and stuff, and so like that was just really like heartfelt and more
Yeah.
really heartwarming. And again, just like I just feel really motivated to continue the Black Gaming Society, and just kind of taking it as a sign to like uh put my faith in it, and just kind of see it as like what I'm meant to do. Oh, let me say it with my chest, what I meant to do, because yeah, I just find so much joy in this organization, and um, yeah, I just really hope it can be successful.
Yeah. And I love that. And I think you're well on your way. And I think that, I can understand being nervous about, hey, I feel like I'm not here yet, that imposter
Mhm,
syndrome, right? Like, and
mhm.
to then get, win the award is a huge acknowledgement. Like we talked about earlier, the validation of that is
Yeah,
just huge. So, congrats again on that. We
thank
obviously
you.
are coming to a close here, so I got a couple more questions, and I want to give you
Oh,
some
yeah.
time to promote anything that you want to promote, or just tell people where they can find you, how to have a conversation with you, learn more about the organization. But what sort of what sort of things can educational institutions do better to support students pursuing careers in esports? From all aspects.
Yeah, so I definitely think I'll go back to my intention for marginalized
Yeah.
representation, whether that's for femme identifying gamers, LGBTQ identifying gamers, and then, of course, like black and brown gamers, because I see like the same kind of trend in collegiate as like you see kind of in traditional esports, that a lot of and not to like I kind of call it shade, but like not to shade anybody, but like it's kind of just like mirroring the same
Right.
like format where talent is kind of like brought in from outside
Mm-hmm.
to be on like yeah, to just like be at our universities and stuff, but then it kind of denies opportunities for, the homegrown talent to really like pursue or explore their interests. And I think, yeah, that would kind of be like my second thing is just having like college is supposed to be the forum where you explore your interests and try to figure out what the heck you're going to do
Yeah.
after you leave the institution. So I definitely think just having way more opportunities for people to actually get hands-on experience doing different things in gaming in esports relating to uh, the plethora of like things in the industry like PC building or streaming and stuff like that. Like it's kind of paramount to introduce folks to that, and especially people who may have not even been exposed to that stuff prior to uh, their time at a esports arena on campus, right?
Right.
So, I think those are like things that I've noticed just at like my from my college experience, um, and just yeah, it's just kind of like being more open and inclusive to everybody across the board.
Yeah.
For sure. Cause yeah, again, gaming is meant to be fun and it's meant to bring people together. And I think sometimes we may forget that. It's not just about like competition, it's not just
Yeah.
about winning. So yeah, I think definitely those are things to just maybe be more intentional with.
I love that answer because I agree wholeheartedly with you on that. There's so much more to this than just winning and being good
Yeah.
and being the best or whatever. Like there's just so much more. There's so many
Yeah.
avenues, so many opportunities for everybody. So thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Where can people find you? How do they get in touch with you? How do they learn more about the organization? Where can they find you at?
Yeah, sure. So, if you'd like to follow the Black Gaming Society, all of our handles are at bgxs.ebg. Um, and we have like Instagram, Twitter, and we also have a Discord server. And really, our Discord server is where most of the action happens. Um, I'm hoping to kickstart like some weekly play sessions. We've kind of been doing those impromptu and not so scheduled, but we're going to try to make them more regular so folks can, more frequently join us. So be on the lookout for that. We're hoping to play some games that we like, but we're also open to other titles. If anybody has suggestions, so definitely join the Discord. It's linked to like our link tree that's in our bios and stuff. And I guess if you want to follow me, this is my Twitch at Bingy-san. That's kind of my gamer tag, my gamer handle. So uh, yeah, I stream sometimes and I have a little Instagram, but yeah, it's at Bingy-san.
Love it. Well, thank you so much
Yes.
for being here. Our very next episode of Have Game Will Travel will be on Thursday, April 18th with fellow Twitch partner and co-owner of Rare Drop, Professor Broman. So that'll be an exciting episode. But thanks for watching. Have a fantastic evening, and we will see you next time. Bye.